Okay. Hope I can read my chicken scratches here. Okay, well, good afternoon. Appreciate everybody being here today. First and foremost, like I said at 9 o'clock this morning, I think the big message here is thank you. Thank you so much to the people that are covering this. We've had phone calls from all over the state of Indiana. We've had text messages. We've had emails. We've had so many phone calls, and the outpouring of support for this amazing community, it's just unbelievable. It really gives me goosebumps. As you know, there are many great things going on here in the city of Sullivan. This one's pretty tough, right? This is definitely a tough pill to swallow, but we definitely are showing that we're living by our city motto of taking time to care. Before we get started, I just want to thank, there's too many people to thank, right? My phone continues to go off, and I can't get back in touch with everybody, but a few folks I'd like to thank specifically, obviously, our Lieutenant Governor, Suzanne Crouch. Lieutenant Governor, thank you so much. You're here today during this tough time, but Suzanne Crouch is here all the time, right? You're always a big advocate for rural communities, and you're a great friend, and you love the city of Sullivan, and we appreciate that. I was just speaking with Lieutenant Governor Crouch. One thing we're going to talk about today, if there are some folks that are being misplaced, the IHCDA, which the Lieutenant Governor's office oversees, will provide vouchers. So if you know anybody that is affected, that'd be the 155 properties in the city limits or the nearly 200 properties across the county that are affected, and if they need housing assistance, please contact City Hall. We're here at 110 North Main Street. You can contact us at 812-268-6077. So, Lieutenant Governor, we appreciate the IHCDA and their efforts there. Also want to thank Senator Bassler. I don't know if he's here right now, but I've been in contact with him today. Also, our State Representative Bruce Borders, State Fire Marshal Stephen Jones has been here today. Indiana State Police Superintendent Doug Carter, I spoke to him earlier on the phone today, and we do have Matt. He's here from the Indiana State Police to answer any questions for us here today as well. I said this earlier this morning, the cities and towns, the staff at AIM has done an amazing job of reaching out to us, and like I said, there's 123 mayors in the state, and I think I've heard from about 90% of them, so thank you. Big thank you to the city team, right? This isn't exactly in the playbook in city government, so the city team has stepped up. It's a Saturday, it's a weekend. They're truly living by the city's motto. Our county commissioners, sometimes there's a little tension, right, between the city and the county, but I see Commissioner Waterman around here somewhere and the other county commissioners, and definitely there's no tension. We're just taking care of people. I think the county would agree. I see some city council people here today. Former Mayor Gene Bonham is here today. Big thank you to the Knox County EMA, which has kind of taken over this situation. Mr. Streeter, former Kokomo Mayor Greg Goodnight. Appreciate him coming down today because, as many of you know, Kokomo suffered too while he was there. So he definitely understands going through a tornado. And once again, Mayor Joe Yoakum from the city of Vincennes, who was here with me at 3 o'clock this morning, and him and his lovely wife are here today. So like I said, so many I'd really like to get around and thank, but let's get right to it. Like I mentioned, I'm so thankful, but I'm also very proud, and I'm so impressed of how state government has stepped up and really come together and partnered with us here at the local level. I want to make it very clear that we are finishing up our find search with our professional teams. So we talked about this morning at 9 a.m. We had professional teams coming up from Evansville that were trained to go into certain situations before we, so to speak, unleashed the volunteers. And I'm glad we did, because there are a few situations where they were needed, and they are working on search and rescue right now. Heavily damaged structures, obviously, all over the area. We are right now in the response phase, and we will be moving to a long-term recovery phase over here over the next few days. Once again, that was the USAR. That's the Urban Search and Rescue out of Evansville. We appreciate their efforts. They have definitely identified a few homes that needed this specialty service. Also want to mention that our shelter is still in place at Abundant Grace, which is located on Highway 41, right behind the Walmart here in Sullivan. I did mention the 200 homes that were affected. I know residents have utilized the church, and that is courtesy of the American Red Cross, so we appreciate that. Speaking of the American Red Cross, and this message is directly to the citizens that have been affected. The city administration, we love you, and we stand by you, and we definitely hope you're insured. it is so vital that you reach out to your insurance agents, your insurance companies, and get these claims started. But also we understand that there's some folks more vulnerable in our community that might not have insurance. So I encourage them to contact the Red Cross immediately for that service. Going on right now here at lunchtime, the Salvation Army is at the First Christian Church taking care of first responders, their needs. So once again, the shelter is still open. We talked about this earlier today, the importance, how much we appreciate the volunteers, but how we didn't want them to flood to the area. We also understood that the property owners and the citizens of the affected area were probably pretty anxious, and they wanted to get back to check on their home. By a show of hands, how many here in the room obviously would be pretty concerned, right? And they want to get back home. So I'm very impressed with our team. By 12 minutes after 10 a.m. this morning, we told you our goal was going to be 10 a.m., and only 12 minutes later, we did open that up. Now, we didn't open that up to gawkers. We didn't open that up to folks just coming to check things out, but to the citizens of that area that were affected, and we're asking them only to be in that area. I did mention them contacting their insurance, and our underinsureds need to contact the Red Cross. But quite frankly, I want to keep reiterating that this is an ongoing search and rescue event going on here. Talking to the residents down there, I was able to walk the neighborhoods a while ago, and it's devastating, right? I mean, it just absolutely breaks your heart. I can assure you, in 2010, probably 1986 when I decided to run for mayor at 6 years old, but definitely in 2010 when I made that official announcement. There's no way in the world did I ever think about that I'd be walking through neighborhoods that I used to ride my bike through and just see mass devastation. We see that on the national news, whether it's a war in Ukraine or whatever, and that's quite frankly what this looks like, is a war zone. So definitely the physical aspect of this is very tough, but the emotional part, it's really tough, and that's one of the hats as a mayor. Sometimes mayors hug, right? So to be able to talk to those folks, and there's a lot of people that just don't, quite frankly, know. They really don't know what to do. So definitely asking for support and prayers for those individuals. I also want to mention that we do have dumpsters en route on their way to the location, courtesy of Republic Services, and then also Lowry's here locally as well. So I'm trying to get all this information out to you up front. Another concern that some folks might have, not only were the properties damaged, but they also had vehicles damaged. So we talk about displacement of people. Well, maybe they don't have the transportation. So our city staff is working on trying to find transportation. We appreciate the IHCDA and their vouchers, up to 30 days where you can stay in a hotel. And also especially to Mayor Duke Bennett, who's offered to open up some hotels up in Terre Haute as well. So, once again, over the next few days, we are going to continue to utilize all the resources. And after today's press conference now, we will not have really any immediate updates until tomorrow. We want to make sure all of our time and all of our attention is taking care of the people of this amazing community. So, Mr. Ames, if you have any updates from the Indiana State Police that you'd like to share.
Well, we're going to continue to be here in the area. We're going to be able to provide security. As the mayor said, we're going to be allowing the people that actually live inside that area to go in there and check things out. We're asking anyone that wants to be a sightseer just to stay home. Please don't come into the area. We do have 3 fatalities, unfortunately, here in this tornado, and we still do have the search and rescue services going. And once we receive more information from that, I will provide that out to the public.
Yeah, and once again, if you have yet to get in touch with that loved one or that person that you're concerned with, please contact us here at City Hall at 110 North Main Street. We will take that information and we will get that to the appropriate authorities as well. So once again, city staff is on standby. We care, we love you, and we'll do absolutely anything we can. So at this time, is there any questions? We can open it up. Yes, sir.
Garrett Berquist, WTHI-TV. Do you have any updates on the number and condition of people who were injured in the storm?
Approximate numbers. Right now we know that there were several individuals that went to Sullivan County Community Hospital on their own. We did transport a few individuals, and then also there were a few individuals that went and sought health care in Vigo County up in Terre Haute. I'm just kind of spitballing here, probably maybe anywhere from 8 to 12 is kind of the rough numbers I have. I also wanted to mention that Governor Eric Holcomb will be arriving today at 2:30 p.m. So I want to make sure that the governor, the head of our state government, that you are all aware that he has been in contact with us, close communication. He was actually at the Emergency Response Center in Indianapolis, but he will be here at 2:30 p.m. today to walk and check things out. I think I might have mentioned earlier our state representative, Bruce Borders. I just saw him back there. Thank you for coming as well. So I can honestly say everybody, Todd Young's office, all of them, everybody has been in touch and reached out, and it's just amazing. When a community, when a state, when all levels of government come together, this is proof that it does work, right? We're all a team in this, and we're all in it together. Are there any other questions?
At this point, what does Sullivan need most? Particularly for our viewers back in Indianapolis who might be watching this, what do you need most right now?
No, and as a matter of fact, from Indianapolis, I want to thank Mayor Joe Hogsett. He called first thing this morning, already offering his services and his help and his inspiration there, and we appreciate that. That's a very good question. So many people want to help, but they just don't know how. And we appreciate everybody's help, but at the same time, we are still in a search and rescue operation, and we want to make sure that we don't necessarily flood the areas, right? So many people do want to help, but we want to make sure our first responders and our officials get everything taken care of. So kind of, I guess my best advice would be stand by, and we'll definitely announce our needs over the coming days, because this isn't like a tornado happened last night, the power goes out, and ta-da, the power's back on today. This is obviously, we are preparing for a long-term recovery, and we expect the state agencies not just to help us today, but to continue to partner with us just like they have over these past 12 years as we start with redevelopment efforts and really make sure that south side of Sullivan comes back stronger than it ever has before. I assure you, and I promise the folks today, if anybody knows this administration, we chase every dollar possible, and we are definitely not going to take our foot off the gas right now, especially when the people of our community are in need. They have a partner here in the mayor's office, and they have a partner in state government. Any other questions?
Do you have any sense yet of how many buildings or homes are destroyed?
Yeah, there are 200 in the county, structures that were affected. Now, those are the ones that were severely, heavily damaged. I'm sure that there are issues all over town. I'd hate to be an insurance agent right now here in the community, because even though the tornado's direct path might not have hit everywhere, there are other houses affected. So 155 in the city, 200 overall.
How many families total do you know are displaced?
I'd love to tell you that. 200 households, so do the math. Is that one person living in that home? Is that a couple living in that home? Is it a family living in that home? So quite frankly, we know the number of households, but to actually give you an exact number, lots and lots of people are affected, and families and loved ones. Like I mentioned this morning, there's been families that have been on vacation, so they're separated, and it was very difficult with the cell phone towers down or whatever the issue was. I know my family was pretty worried when we were all curled up in the basement with my little girl and my wife this morning, and you couldn't get the cell phone coverage to get out. So I believe a lot of those issues have been resolved, and those families are trying to be unified once again. But once again, here at 110 North Main Street is the ultimate place where if you want to get in contact with somebody and you have concern about that missing loved one, please let us know, and we'll do everything we can to help.
You said search and rescue teams, that process is ongoing. Are you aware of any properties or areas of the city or county that those teams just haven't gotten to yet?
We are not aware of any of those, but we are aware of the properties, like I mentioned earlier, that actually needed professional assistance and not just some local folks to come in and help. So those are ongoing operations right now.
So since search and rescue is still ongoing, there is the potential for more fatalities?
We hope not. Our prayers are not, but it's unknown at this time. Any other questions? Also want to thank State Senator John Ford. He's here with us today as well. Appreciate him and his efforts. Okay. All right, so we will send out a media advisory. If you want to leave your name and contact information when we update you tomorrow. But understand that's why we can't sit around and talk like this. We have people to get taken care of, and we appreciate everybody's professionalism, their courtesy, and please, we ask for your continued prayers and love and support for this amazing community. So, thank you. Appreciate it.